and welcome to episode 222 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, a place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. I'm Vince Hunt, creator of The Red Mouse from Mars, and joining me this week are the creator of Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
Fucking hell.
He always gets me every week. And I'm also joined by the Phileas Fogg of comics, Mr. Tony Esmond.
I'm a bit tired today.
But not as tired as you're going to be, my friend, because...
Oh, that's a threat. Here we go, sexy.
Already it's gone sexy. Yes, this week we were... Well, I mean, this episode's coming out at normal time, but we've recorded early.
Quite early as well. Right at the start of the week.
Quite early.
I can't recall the last time we recorded on a Tuesday.
No.
It's... Let me check my diary. No, neither can I.
How full is that diary, Tony?
Very full. My diary is a very full little affair, my friend.
Oh, well, I think there's probably a comic book in there somewhere.
Tony's diary.
Oh, it's like Bridget Jones meets Mad Max via Confessions of.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Imagine that.
Anyway, yes, we're recording early this week because Tony is away, or as you're listening to it now, if you're hearing it on Monday, are you coming back? Are you flying back at the moment as we speak?
Yeah, if you download this as it comes out and listen to it straight away, which obviously all good listeners do.
Yeah.
I'm in the air.
Yeah, he's on a plane.
They've got Wi-Fi on my planes as well. The plane they had Wi-Fi the last one, so I think I'll be able to download it and listen to it in the air.
Yeah.
Living in the future, man.
Yeah. What a world to be in. But yes, because Tony is, just visited New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
And hopefully, touch wood, we might have a bit of audio for a future show. We'll see. We're not going to promise anything. We can't promise anything on this show because you never know what might go wrong.
Always let me down.
But however, we are going to make a run for our own back and promise you some extra audio in a minute, which we are yet to get. So this will be interesting, won't it?
Who are you playing?
The pressure's on.
Just so the listener can in 5 minutes discover whether you passed or failed the test. Who are you intending to interview? Have you got any targets?
No. I think at a convention, when you're at a convention, it's just whoever.
Dan Cornwell. Get Dan Cornwell. I'm going to be talking about him in a minute.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, you'll find out in a short while if we manage to do that, folks, because we were at Leamington Comic Con this past weekend. First time we've been at a show for a while, and it was me and Dan there.
Since the MCM debacle.
Yes. It was our personal debacle. Other people probably had a good time, but
this is our Rocky 2.
This is this is the one we win. Yes.
This is our Rocky 5.
Yeah. Yep. And do you know who's also a winner?
I'm pretty sure I do.
And who's that, Dan?
Comic House.
Yes, our sponsor. God, we're getting good at this. No, we're not. Yeah, Comic House are our sponsor, and as we say every week, they're the indie comic marketplace with a difference, and we love them. And there's a huge reason why we love them, because on their website there's a huge selection of small press and indie titles on the database. Loads of creators are on there. And you can, if you create your own book, you can self-publish, put your book on there for free, and it's just another avenue to help selling your books straight away. But they've also got a brilliant app, which I'll probably be my to read pile's getting even bigger, so I'm looking forward to going back to the app and just chewing
Mine's
through.
Thrown out the window and down the road now.
What, your to read pile?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't even include the print books, does it?
No.
I wouldn't mind reading that Ting Budong. It's My Awkward Adventures in China. That might be quite fun.
Well, what else is on there as well as that then, Dan?
Oh.
We've got Gallant and Amos issue 6, Leaf issue 0, Tales of Astoundment even, Meat, which looks great and sounds great. Surrealsville 15, Parallels Volume 2, issue 2, Gods of Men, Shadow of the Sentinel 2, Lady Phantom 3, and of course Awesome Comics Volume 1, issue 4.
Yes.
Yeah, you can read issues 1, 2, 3, and 4 via Comic House if you got the app. If you bought the comics this past weekend, thank you very much for doing so, and we hope you enjoyed them.
Are you doing a panel?
No, we're just there like.
We did quite a popular panel there before. Do you remember?
Yeah, the room was full.
Yeah.
You never know, though. You never know. They might
just do an ad hoc one.
Yeah.
It does not the same about you, though. So Probably not.
I'll miss it if you do it, but I'd like to hear it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I
I'm
see it. Yeah.
trying to bring along. I will be bringing along the A5 cards for that drawing challenge where we're going to do everyone does a drawing on the postcard and then they're auctioned off and the money goes to Little Heroes. So on the day, I want to hand out those cards to all the people on the tables and see if we can get some more entries there.
I haven't done mine yet. I need to do mine.
It's not till the end of October. Got plenty of time.
That's good. I had a go at one the other day and it didn't come out. I wasn't happy with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If he wants a sailboat on an orange sea, he can have one of them if he wants.
Oh, yeah.
Come see a man,
nice.
TE.
Yeah. But, I mean, unfortunately, you can't see Tony's wonderful chalk-based artwork via comichouse.com. But you find out more about the app, and for a 14-day free trial, go to the website, check it out, and we love them. So there you go.
Somebody wrote into me on Instagram and said, if you lose any more money on your comics, you can always sit in Leicester Square drawing on the pavement. And I thought that was actually quite a good point.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before, I don't know, probably for a convention or something. Because more and more conventions are like taking over towns and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
Someone's going to do a sequential comic on a pavement, aren't they?
They've done something like that in New York. They one of the first ones, they had a big bit sort of sectioned off and they drew this thing on it. People took turns at drawing on it.
Okay.
But was it more like a jam piece, sort of like graffiti style?
Yeah, it was more like a jam piece looking down a hole. You know, and those like, there's
yeah. I can see someone's going to steal this idea now, aren't they, for one of these festivals? But I can see someone doing a chalk bit of artwork and doing a page of a comic on a pavement.
Chalk's horrible, though. It's a horrible medium. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
My fingers are all dirty, and it was dusty. And no, it's not my. Because I suppose because we've stared at, like ink on white paper for so many years, haven't we? That's all we want now.
Yeah. Is it all we want?
When you put the ink down, it's done. It's like you can't you can fuck around with it, but like chalk, it's forever in that state of you can fuck around with it and
but some people like that though, don't they? It's like forever malleable and things like that.
It's all this sort of rubbing it in. Don't like that. Don't like
That's
it.
Not
at all.
what
Don't
I've heard.
use your fingers.
You've got some good language in malleable, rubbing it in.
Yeah.
Coming off in your hands.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of it got all over my face.
Back to the chalk though.
To any new listeners who obviously saw us at the weekend, bear with us.
Pretty much every show.
These early recording shows always go a little bit off the rails.
Yes. Last week was good though. Sarah was very good. Yes. I was very impressed with her.
Yes.
She had done her homework and she knew her stuff. It was very good.
When you get a guest that comes on knows their stuff.
Yeah, we knew Sarah was going to be good on it. So and thank you for all the nice feedback for the latest episode. Nice to have a sort of sometimes it feels like after 222 episodes where we've talked about a host of different topics and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think, is there anything more to talk about? And then before you know it, something comes up and, we've never talked about that before. There's always more to talk about with comics, which is why we're going to keep going for a bit. Although, but over the next few weeks and months, we might be too tired to do anything because we're quite busy.
Dear. And I'm going to the lakes now as well. I don't know why I did that. Wow. I decided to go to the lakes as well.
Yeah. So
I was going to say, Tony, when you're in New York Comic Con, you're going to try to get one of those bootleg dread badges. I don't know if anyone on our group heard that, but there's a chap, I can't remember the name of the creator, but he's like he's like an Eisner nominated writer, and he was basically banging out counterfeit Judge Dredd badges. And 2000 AD sort of said, don't be doing this, and loads of people got up in arms about it. But
Judge Dredd is parody. It's parody. But I bet that bloke, if you started doing badges for one of his comics, he'd be like emailing you.
That's the context to take, isn't it? I mean,
exactly. Yeah. Can I counterfeit your comic now? Can I start pirating it? No.
And for me personally, if someone comes back and sort of says, yes, but that's small press and independent, and these are bigger companies. No, IP is IP. It's not.
Yeah, nobody's making millions these days, my friend. That's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't believe I was astonished when I looked at the tweet that so many people were kind of defending this chap. To be fair, 2000 AD didn't do it the right way. There's no point calling out someone like that. It's like walking up to a group of 25 blokes and say, "Oh, can you put that cigarette out?"
It was all a little bit public,
shit.
wasn't it? And public, social media. When it's public on social media, it's ugly. It gets ugly. And so there are ways to do things.
He's reconciled with them at the end, though, isn't he? I think they've agreed he can sell the ones he's made, but no more. And he said that's fair enough. I think he said something like he saw their point of view. I think towards the end, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I didn't read that far down.
Isn't he a comic writer? He's not a badge maker, is he?
No,
he feels like a bit.
Yeah.
Feels like a bit of a cash in to me. He was
just banging like counterfeit stuff out to fund his trip to New York.
Yeah.
Which kind of, come on, man. That's.
Yeah, my Red Mask from Mars condoms, they're going to go down a storm in New York, aren't they?
Like, kind of drawing a picture of Judge Dredd, like, okay, I look the other way. I wouldn't say do prints of the bloody thing, but doing badges like that.
Yeah.
Because there is a company they license to do badges. I think that's the problem, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, I think that's where that comes from.
And you've got to actively defend your copyright and IP, otherwise, if someone bloke comes out in the future and starts doing Judge Dredd helmets, flogging them off, and they go after him. So, well, you didn't go after that bloke. Why are you going after me?
And Rebellion are a company who are very protective over their IP and their licenses and things like that. You know, no matter. You know, and then they're certainly from what I've heard and read and stuff, they're more actively involved. Whereas I think because they're a name, people think that they're probably bigger than they are. You know, sometimes like with Marvel or DC. You know, that they'll overlook the certain prints because if they look into it, they'll spend the rest of their bloody lives stopping all this stuff that happens. Whereas Rebellion and the 2000 AD sort of stuff, it's still big fish to us, but it is certainly in the grander scheme of things, it's smaller fish, isn't it? And in this this ever shrinking comic market, you really do need to look after your IP. You really do.
I was thinking at it from the point of view of what if, bear in mind, I don't make Hilda, but I work for the company that does. What if I saw someone advertising, do you want some Hilda enamel badges? I'm making them. I'd be like, hang on a minute. There's people at my place whose wages depend on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, it's only me. I'm only a small independent creator. So, you're taking food out of the mouth of people who work in the fucking company and their kids' mouths. It's not on. But there was that one guy who said, I'm going to sell all my 2000 AD stuff. And I was like, whatever, mate, you fucking wally.
Yeah. I mean for me personally, it's nice to hear that at least something's been settled and it's been settled.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's been sorted out. So,
Yeah, sometimes people don't realise they're being twats, do they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's fine.
Like us.
Yeah.
I think that lack of self-awareness is sometimes quite lacking on people on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's massively obvious on this show.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But it's the same thing. You were going to mention that Al Snow. Remember? The video?
Yes. The video that kind of went a little bit viral on the social media. I don't know how big.
This is the wrestling guy.
Yeah, it's quite old. It's like a couple of years old.
Yeah.
That interview, but it's relevant.
Yeah, and it's basically I can't remember. I saw it retweeted by some. It was tweeted by some. I've forgotten the account now. It wasn't a comics account or anything like this, but this is basically Al Snow, like WWE wrestler from the 90s and stuff. You probably recognised him at the time, but when he was a wrestler, he was going around with a mannequin and acting like a absolute lunatic. But he's a very, very intelligent man, and there was an interview with him talking about toxic fandom. And I think if you're into comics, well, actually, if you're into any pastime, if you're into any hobby, if you're passionate about something, then you have encountered or at least seen online or something some evidence of toxic fandom. Comics is, I think, because we're deep in the trenches of comics, aren't we? Really, like, you're seeing it all around, and horror stories, and it seems like some comics websites, that's all they talk about, and you just sort of think, let's talk about some good news. But there was just this interview, and we'll have to put it in the show notes.
It's good. I try not to comment on the professional side of it because I've never worked in comics professionally. So I can only make like guesses, but far from me like say, this is the way it is, and blah blah blah.
And I think one of the and what Al
was saying, for those who haven't seen it though, V, what was he saying?
He was basically talking about toxic fandom and like how he hates it and stuff.
But wasn't it? It was Go on,
when he says opinion is the lowest form of knowledge. Because people like opinion doesn't necessarily mean what was he saying now? I'm going to murder it, but he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort of said there's opinion mixed with, and he sort opinion mixed with knowledge. I forgot what it is now.
Yeah, essentially, it didn't make any sense to me at one point because he was saying something about information or something is the lowest form. Was it that? I can't remember.
No, opinion is the lowest form because anyone can have an opinion, but they're not informed.
Right. Okay.
Whereas if you got like knowledge and experience, I think put together, you can create a more all-round,
solid standpoint.
Yeah.
I was reminded of that thing Pat Mills said. He said that the world changed a little bit for especially for comics is when we moved from readers to fans, and people have that sort of sense of entitlement and that sense of they think they own stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's just made for people to read.
Yeah.
We don't expect you to believe that you own Captain America's sex life or you know whatever it's going to be.
I think it was essentially saying like people who kind of only got a little bit of knowledge but no real experience in the industry or kind of anything that goes on behind the scenes, and then making judgments of how things are and how things should be, and they don't really have a place doing that.
And how they keep coming back for it, and familiarity breeds contempt. So
that's a phrase I've been using for 20 years. I mean, it really does so. And I thought that's the nature of the world now. Social media is familiarity breeds contempt. Everyone thinks they're your friend. Everyone thinks they can say things. You know, we've had it even. You know.
Yeah. So, I absolutely murdered it. I should have made notes.
No, I think you watched the video. It's a difficult one. Like the chap is very articulate and he knows.
Yeah.
But it's to me, it's like he says something that we all know.
Yeah.
So that you often get people who have that ability to state. I'm not going to say the obvious, but to state something that we all know. We all know this.
Yeah.
We all think it, but he's managed to encapsulate it really well into a couple of sentences.
And he's not talking about this industry that we talk about every week. He's not talking. He's talking about wrestling. But when you see the parallels of it, it's really I say it
right. Freaks are into wrestling now, aren't they?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it's funny.
Fucking A, man.
The lack of self-awareness. People were sort of retweeting it saying, "Yeah, this is toxic fandom," and I felt like saying, "You're part of that. You're part of that. You're there's two sides to this thing, which will remain nameless, and you're on the other side, and you're just as bad as them because they go after dogging creators because they don't express opinions which they find agreeable.
Yeah,
and it's like you're just as bad." So
I think there was a couple of people who got ahead of it before someone went, "Yeah, he's talking about you, mate."
Yeah,
I said, "Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely." You think, well, no, it's clearly about you.
That's you.
Yeah.
But we'll put a link in the show notes. I think a couple of us retweeted it anyway, didn't we? So definitely check it out and just replace wrestling with comics, and you'll agree with something because I think it was it was a timely clip. I thought,
these things are slightly evergreen, aren't they? That'll come around again. Definitely. We'll see that again in a couple of years, I reckon. Yeah.
So so then quite serious subjects. So far this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's break it up with a bit of comics chatter. Yes.
No.
No. We were talking about the film Sexy Beast off air. So
You're making me look like a riot. Hang on. What?
No. I'm not going to edit that. I've got enough editing to do as it is because this past weekend we're at Leamington Comic Con 2019. Me and the Butcher.
Yes.
At the Awesome Pod table, and we got some audio for you here. Pressure's on.
We hope.
Yeah. No, there will be.
No.
It's only just us two. We get some fucking audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to welcome to Leamington Spa. We're going to get some interviews. Yeah, we didn't get any. We were quite tired.
Yeah.
Do the thing about being tired again because that's my favourite thing that we do. Everything.
Oh, we do it on every convention that we're knackered.
Yeah.
But so expect that in probably the next 5 minutes because we won't have any interviews. But no. Here's the audio from Leamington Comic Con. Check it out and join us back here in a minute for more nonsense that's been unplanned. Okay, it's the opening of Leamington Comic Con 2019.
Yeah, half hour in.
Tony is obviously in New York at the moment, so it's just me, aka Vince, and Dan Butcher.
Dan B, the one and only.
And we're all set up. We're ready to go. Well, we're having a tea at the moment. So I think, have we woken up yet?
No. It wasn't great for the drive down.
Yeah. We had an early start, but we are ready to go. People are coming in and looking at comics at the moment. There's some great creators here today. So we're looking forward to getting
sitting opposite John Wagner and Dan Cornwell of Rock of the Reds.
And we've got Darrel Forpe next to us.
Oh my God, am I on?
No, you're not. No, you're not on yet, love.
Forpe's back with a brand new impression.
Right, so you might hear some more from him later, unless he tires us out so much that that's the last interview we do of the day.
Well, that's one. We did say we were going to get one.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next however many it'll be. There's lots of new creators that we haven't had on the show here today, so hopefully we'll be able to talk to some new voices, get some updates from past guests and stuff. And yeah, stay tuned.
See you later.
Right, it's my first interview of the day. I'm here with the Hellbound Media boys. Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. Enjoying the vibe at Leamington Comic Con.
Yeah, it's lovely. What's it like being in a church? Is your skin burning?
Slightly, it's tingling. None of our comics have combusted yet.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, looking at, your table. I mean, I'm sure a lot of our listeners have seen the Hellbound Media guys at conventions, because you do conventions all year round, don't you? But your the selection's just grown and grown. I'm seeing two huge tables filled with completely different titles everywhere. It's bloody impressive, to be honest. So, how has it been? Like, I mean, you've been doing this for a few years now, haven't you? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think we're 7.5 years now. We've been doing Comic Cons. I think, unless or was it 8.5? I'm really losing track now.
Yeah, time flies. Yeah. But yeah, you got tons of stuff. Obviously, you got your early titles and Mandy the Monster Hunter. Obviously, and I've worked with you on that, so I know that character quite well. But what's some of the new stuff that you've got for those horror fans? And you've got some different flavours. We did just have a chat just before we started about something quite extreme that I'll get you to talk about in a sec. But what have you got at the moment that's out?
Okay, do you want me to talk about the extreme comic first, or the?
Yeah,
the
why not?
Mandy?
Why not?
Let's jump in.
Because I looked at the first page and I thought, right, okay, they went there.
Well, it's a spin-off from our previous sort of slasher grindhouse video nasty slasher comic Slugfest Farm, which was, kind of a serial killer called family-friendly version of his name would be Pig Lover.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe Dan's read the first couple of
issues. He has indeed, and it is a book that people remember when they read it.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of a spin-off where the basic premise is it's some bad scientists, because, this is what they do, take the DNA of Pig Lover. Wait, you swear on this podcast, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pig fucker. So they take the DNA of him, they splice it with an aggressive breed of pig and create Porker X, a kind of zombie pig human hybrid who escapes and raises an army of undead zombie human pig hybrids and roam across North Wales, killing doggers and invading a small town. And it stars Roxy and Serenity, who are a couple about to have their wedding the next day, and it's like the wedding day of the dead. Will they survive? And it's kind of Planet Terror meets Troma with pigs.
I mean, if ever there was a sales pitch, that last line says it all, doesn't it? But and the thing about horror as well, isn't it? Horror has so many different flavours of fans, doesn't it? It has the people that just like more fantastical or lighter side of horror, and then you got the extreme stuff as well. And your books kind of cover all of it, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, Zed is probably our most extreme one, but we also do darkly psychological horror, science fiction horror. We try, because we're in our anthologies especially, we try and have a real mix of stuff that's actually scary, whereas Zed is less scary, more over-the-top gory. Yeah. And then we actually have stuff that's actually all ages appropriate, which is Mandy, which we kind of approach as written for adults thematically, but the content-wise we sort of look at things like Buffy, Doctor Who, the later Harry Potter films, in terms of dark, scary, but nothing like overtly gory or adult in them. And Mandy,
I've noticed the output of Mandy as well has really sort of, you put the pedal down over the past couple of years, because you had a couple of books, but then there's obviously the Comic House strip, and you've got Legend of the Spindly Man. There was a lot of stuff. I was seeing Mandy everywhere.
Oh, thank you. I think she's just been really popular because she has that kind of crossover between younger readers and older readers. So you yourself drew Battle of Monster Rock, which actually Comic House, I believe, are intending to have out for Falp Bubble as a collected book, as far as I'm aware.
Maybe, hope so.
So do I, which would be great. We've got Legend of the Spindly Man, which is more of a and this is what I mean, actually, more of a gothic fairy tale, dark fantasy, which takes on the Slender Man. He's sort of Slender Man meets the Babadook, with a bit of Pennywise and Freddy in there as well. The idea is he's a viral story that's taken the next step and spread into reality. And the more people believe in him and fear him, the more powerful he becomes, the more his story actually happens.
And the art for that sort of almost sells itself, because like Spindly Man, you've got the art chores of
Lyndon White, who is pretty much on every row of Comic Village somewhere in someone's book. He's very prolific, very, very skilled.
Yeah, and brilliant stuff, and perfect for that sort of story as well. Like, his designs are brilliant. And what I like about Mandy as well is, depending on what artist or collaborators you choose, they can put their own flavour on the character, isn't it? It's not you're not hard and fast to, this is her armour, this is her look, this is that. You let the artist sort of have almost free reign, really.
Yeah, she actually has armour that she makes out of bits of monsters she's beaten before, and we very deliberately said she has variants on that, like a very basic one. Then she has one with like gills that she can use underwater from using monster gills and stuff. Actually comes up in Spindly Man, because Spindly Man can control other monsters because he's like this apex predator. He actually sort of takes possession of Mandy's armour.
That's cool.
So she has to sort of tear it off herself and then fight it in a kind of reanimated manner. But when you drew it, we wanted you to do your own take, and your art is very different to Lyndon's, because his story was going for that dark fairy tale kind of vibe, whereas yours was very much, the one you did for us was very much Pokemon meets Kaiju.
Yeah.
And again, and that's kind of important for us. We want to match the art and the style to the story we're telling, and I think that's true really across all our comics. But especially
I think looking at your range as well, you're very upfront with how things are presented as well. For instance, we talked about that extreme horror. You've got it up front. You know exactly what that is, like looking at it. It's like a video store. You know when you look at the video cover, right, that's an extreme horror movie. Whereas Mandy is presented in a very different sort of way, isn't it? I mean, apart from those two, you've also got anthologies as well, haven't you?
Yeah, the shock value anthologies. We've actually sold out at the moment of our latest one, Giallo, which is sort of themed on the Italian horror. It's been really successful, so we're waiting to
the cover alone is
the cover alone sold it a lot. Actually, it was
yellow. It's yellow as well, isn't it? So is it a yellow background with like a
bright yellow with red? It's actually based properly on the old Italian Giallo novel covers, which had this kind of really lurid yellow. So we need to reprint now. We've got another one coming up. It's very near completion. That's going to currently under the title Shock Value Black and White, and it's going to be themed around. It's sort of classic monsters, sort of going back to Universal and literature, but with a sort of hellbound twist on them. So you've got vampires, swamp monsters, mummies, all that kind of stuff. So
that'll be in the new year?
That'll be out probably now in the new year. We were planning to do a kind of Kickstarter campaign. We use that for a lot of them. We're not quite sure when we're going to launch that now. We were hoping for October, obviously. It's October now, so we're still sort of planning on that. But we've got a lot of books coming, really. I mean, we've got more Mandy.
What other conventions, and you're always doing conventions, so what other conventions are you at this year?
We're going to be at Thought Bubble, which is the comic event of for comics. London MCM in the Comic Village, and MCM are just increasingly supporting that kind of independent sector. They're really going. There's so much amazing stuff in the Comic Village there now. Where else are we? We are going to be at Nottingham Comic Con, I believe.
You do not stop, do you? You just do not stop, which is brilliant. It's brilliant, which means there's always a chance that people are going to get their hands on your books. But if they don't, if they're the sort of person that stays at home and doesn't leave the house, probably like one of the characters from one of your books, maybe. Where can people find your stuff online?
We have a website, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, all Hellbound Media. Our website's hellboundmedia.co.uk, and we do have a basic shop there where we can send out books. We on Twitter at Hellbound Media. We have a Facebook. Hellbound Media just
it's just everywhere.
Yeah,
absolutely everywhere.
And I like cockroaches.
Thank you very much, Steve. Okay, I'm here with the most positive man in comics, Adam Falp. Hello, sir.
Hello. I'm generally quite positive, Vince.
You are?
I know it's just not. I mean, I feel like that's coming across as sarcastic, probably because I've just been talking about how shit I normally do at Comic Cons, because I'm never at the table. But I am genuinely.
It's because you love comics so much.
Absolutely.
You just want to be out amongst comics, swimming in comics.
Swimming in comics.
Making comics.
Amongst other things.
And this is your inaugural year of comic conventioning, isn't it?
Yeah, so 2 weeks in Nottingham, and then that's the first one I've ever done twice. So this is like the first year.
So it's been quite a full-on year, because you've been releasing stuff at the same time.
Yeah, I think I've done maybe 4 books this year.
That's not to be sniffed at, dude.
Yeah.
It may not seem like much to you, but that's like the struggles to get one book out a year.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Well, as you touched upon, Vince, because I'm miserable, I never leave the house, so there's lots of spare time.
Yeah.
Just for me to sit down.
Yeah. So when you do get out, you just like to have a wander, take in the sights,
and not sell. Definitely not stand at a...
Dude, you got some great books, and you've also got this Kirby zine that I want to find out more about.
Let's talk the Kirby zine.
Let's talk the Kirby zine, because I'm going to get a copy in a second. So why don't, even though I'm gonna get my own copy,
okay,
sell me on it. Pretend I'm not going to get a copy.
This is classic awesome pod. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Right.
What, putting you on the spot? Yeah, go on.
No, just
pitch it to us.
Pitch it to me. Yeah, so basically the idea came from someone on their Instagram story, not from maybe someone I follow from the States. They were going to a comic shop that was local to them, and they were throwing a party for his 102nd birthday. And I thought that was pretty cool to do something for the birthday. And I wasn't going to throw a party, but I thought what I could do is maybe a party in a book. I
mean, seeing your work, I mean, you're clearly a lifelong Kirby fan.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I made my first... When I was colouring the first issue of The Fragment, I realised I was shit at colouring. So my way of getting around that was to make it sort of to the old school style. Yeah. And then that was when I found Kirby, when I was trying to look for like colour reference. Yeah. And then you sort of fell in love with it. I bought some of the comics, read them, then the movement, then the art came across.
And it's sort of, especially when you're on the right wavelength to sort of receive Kirby into your brain, it opens your eyes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's weird that when people say, I saw it, well, I didn't like it. I didn't like it for years, and then it grew on me. But I saw it. First of all, the colour hit me, because that's what I was looking for, and then just the movement and the magic, the Kirby magic, and then the design.
Yeah, and the Kirby crackle, all that. Yeah,
all of it. He's the greatest. Yeah. And so this book was just...
It's a love letter and a homage.
I think so, but also from everyone else as well.
Because it's basically it's a zine. It's like an art zine.
Yeah. So I make the Fragment, and the second Fragment is very much... I was full on sort of loving on the Kirby love by then, and that was my super love letter to Kirby, my solo love letter, and then. This was like, okay, everyone else, you can join in now. You can show your appreciation for Kirby.
So what exactly is like sort of art pieces? It's almost like a sketchbook, sort of.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just in the way people just sent me art to some friends, people I've met through shows, online. I asked them to send me pieces or send just in something sort of Kirby related. It didn't have to be, something that he'd done. Just something that inspired you, that you take, or maybe something you think. There's loads of stuff in there. There's original characters that people have thought of just when they've thought of Kirby. There's a page in there that's just sort of an intricate design, which is fantastic. So it's not just sort of Kirby's characters redrawn, although it's what I've done for it.
But it's very much lots of different. What sort of creators have you got in there?
Oh Christ! Who is in there? I'm going to reach over and grab a book because I'm.
I mean, it's a beautiful book to behold as well. I mean, it's full colour. How many pages?
20. I want to say 28.
Yeah,
I want to say 28.
And those that have seen like Kirby's full colour work, this is a proper homage and love letter to it. So you can't do a book like this and it not be colourful, can you?
No, I said. Some people sent in some black and white art, but I've got who have I got? I've got some Ian Laurie, Forpe, who's just down the road from us. Russell Mark Olsen, got some Dan White, Owen Sherwood.
Such a different flavour of art from
The great Sarah Harris.
Yeah. I see Tom Curry in there with that fantastic
Tom Curry.
pixel artwork, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, but the people who sent... I remember... I saw that poster for the party in the comic shop in America, and within an hour I'd posted online, send me stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, oh Christ, I haven't thought this through at all, have I? This is going to be like a Kickstarter that I'd get no money from.
Yeah.
Like, how have I managed to make this rod for my own back? But people have been great. They sent me some great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
It's a beautiful looking book, dude. It's something a bit different as well. So, and you're going to have it. I mean, how many copies? Is it available on your online store as well?
Yes, it is. I think I've got about 20 left. It was a smallish run, and most of them sort of went pretty quickly. But yeah, so all the money raised. I mean, I don't see a penny of this. Yeah. It all goes to the Kirby Museum.
Oh, amazing!
Amazing.
Reason alone to buy a copy.
Who worked to preserve his original pages. Yeah. And I think they're trying to raise around £100,000, and that will get them a brick and mortar space in New York City where they can display his work year round. So you can go in.
Oh, that's amazing!
And you can just see Kirby original.
That is amazing. Do you think is this the only print run you're going to do of it? I
think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sort of, as quick as I can, sell them and get the money and give it and send it away. But, I don't want to have these on the table in 6 months' time. So I want to get the money as quickly as I can and then give it to the museum as fast as I can.
So obviously, I know our show has some Kirby fans. If they do want to get a copy from you, you're going to be at some shows coming up, aren't you? What other shows you got?
I'm doing Nottingham on the 19th of October, and I'll be at BAM as well in December.
Nice.
And I think I'm not tabling at Thought Bubble, but I will be there.
Yeah.
So very much like a normal show.
Well, but if people want to get hold of it, if they can't make it to the shows or whatever, where can people grab hold of this or your other books?
It's goodfornothing.bigcartel.com. Good for Nothing Comics. Sorry, terrible. I'm terrible.
Yeah, but Good for Nothing Comics. People are going to remember that, aren't they?
Yeah,
that's a good name.
Yeah, it's like me. Good for Nothing Contabler.
You're good for everything, my friend.
You're very kind.
Yes, and we're going to have a romantic time away now. So.
Absolutely, and we're in a church, but that don't bother us at all. Not in the slightest.
No.
That just rolled straight off the tongue there, Vince. You looked around, you saw the baby Jesus everywhere, and
let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Let's make a statement.
Yeah, and now we're off to.
Let's just stop it there.
So I'm here with the one and only Darrel Forpe.
Yes. On the lower level there. I don't want to blow people's microphones again.
That's all good.
I'll never get asked back, will I?
Vince loves it. You're back now.
Yeah, I'm back here. Fuck you, Vince.
Nice one. Yeah, so we're selling Errol vs. Evil. You've got a new sketchbook.
Yes, new sketchbook and obviously the webcomic, which is all hand-drawn now with watercolours and stuffs.
Oh, yeah, because you're saying you've now recently become a new father, so you've kind of changed the way you work.
Yeah, for all those people that think you can't make a comic, add the 13-week-old baby in the mix. If you can do it with a 13-week-old baby, you can make a comic, man.
Yeah, you're a trooper, man.
Well, I think we've all been there, haven't we, Dan?
Yeah, we have. I've been there.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
You're my inspiration. Every time it's get hard, I'm like, well, Dan's done it. Dan's done it for the last 10 years. So.
Sometimes I can be economical with my time at work, but yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You've got some winks going on here.
Nudges and winks going. Yeah, but it's
no comment.
When you're trying to you've got outside shit in your life.
Yeah.
Commitments, etc. You kind of got to work it into making comics, and I feel like a lot of creators sometimes overlook that and just I'll make a comic.
Yeah.
And then
shit.
Real life hits you.
Yeah. You've got to work out a system. So mine really is, I pencil it, watercolor it, ink it. There's no rubbing out. I do it on an A4 page. I get home, scan it in, letter it, and it's up. So I think I spend maybe an hour tops per page. So I can do it in my lunch break. And that's just helped me move forward this year with doing stuff, because I think everyone, you have your therapy, don't you?
Yeah.
You enjoy making it, you want to be a part of it, but sometimes you can set your bars so high that you never end up actually doing anything because you're trying to perfect it too much.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to get shit out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I do a webcomic, is because you've got to get the pages out and you constantly like work.
Yeah, I mean, the webcomic has been unbelievable, really. I mean, I don't really know if anyone's reading it, so if you're hearing this, please read it.
Read it. Very good. Read it.
Thank you, yeah. But I think what's been awesome is that I think as soon as you put your comic into a book form, suddenly your brain's into, well, I've got to sell it. So then you start panicking, well, is it worth money? Yeah. And what's the content? And I can't be too risky because, is anyone going to buy it? And, the colours aren't quite right. Well, maybe it needs to be all colour now because everyone else is colour. And you're suddenly having all these stupid problems which actually stops you from just doing stuff. So now if I want to chop a head off a teddy, I chop a head of a teddy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Sodom. Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things, if you kind of like try and please everyone, you end up pleasing no one.
Exactly.
Kind of remain true to your vision and your creation.
Exactly. And I think that happens sometimes. You do read stuff from people and you're like, they've held back here.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have to be a bit like Tony Esmond and just be a bit of a whore and make a chronicle of it.
To be fair though, like there's times when I've gone to like people I trust and said, I think I'm going to do this. Yeah. What do you reckon? And they've said, they've had a look, and you're like, okay, I'll dial that down.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. My wife is almost like a co-creator of the comic.
Yes.
Because I bounce ideas off and say, what about this? And she's like, nah.
Yeah, sometimes my wife is good like that, and sometimes I just ignore her and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then I get, doesn't always work out.
No. Let it be the inevitable, I told you so.
Yeah. Thanks, love.
No, I mean, it's good to kind of get a sounding board. I would like to have like a forum online where people could submit stuff and say, what do you reckon about this?
Do you know, I know it sounds like we're all being like super negative about everything, but I think what everyone's coming up against at the moment is there's a boom where social media is becoming so much about algorithms, about making a quick quid and whatever, that, you're kind of hesitant to talk to anyone because you're worried that they're trying to sell you something, or, you're just having so many fucking adverts, or this thing's had 100 likes, and you're like, great, but I've missed people I follow like yourself. I just miss stuff because it's not in a certain area, and I think, unfortunately I missed it, but when you guys did the 200 episode in London, for me that sounded like the perfect day, because you get to go and hang out with all the other creators, get super hyped up, and then let loose back home.
There's no sales.
You're not worried about it, are you? I think that's it's a definite time at the moment where everyone's kind of doing their own thing, but I'm quite excited because I think people are coming around to the same sort of thinking. So maybe, some exciting things
ahead. Yeah, there is.
For those that stick at it,
there's some rewards to be reaped.
Yes.
If only creative.
Definitely, yeah.
Cheers, Darrel.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Okay, I'm here with a person we've talked about a few times on the show recently. Aaron from Little Heroes. How are you, sir?
All right, Vince.
Little Heroes and Fair Spark Books.
Yes, it's both now.
You're properly legit, aren't you?
Yeah, so legit I don't get invited to MCM.
Oh, there's a topic for a future discussion. But how's it going in the world of Little Heroes and Fair Spark? Because you're busier than ever, aren't you?
Very busy, yeah. We've got just so many things coming out, magazines, books, comics. Yeah. We've got the whole trying to get our new kit rebranded so that in the future it's more of a fully fledged thing rather than something I'm putting together in my garage.
This is the thing, because you've been producing so many and publishing so many comic books recently, and we've been talking about obviously the Spark. Congrats on the Kickstarter, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And that's going to be a great book. That I think maybe we've glossed over a little bit how much work you're doing with Little Heroes, because essentially that's the number one.
Yeah, it's all about funding more money into the charity itself. So the magazines, the books, all portions of it, after creators have got their returns, is back into the charity as much as we can. Especially at the moment, because our kits that we were doing before were just like stuff that I put together from buying components. Oh, hello.
Oh, the classic interruption.
Oh, wow, that wasn't too bad, is it?
So just stuff I used to put together myself in the backyard. But now the idea is that we're going to get it manufactured and shipped over.
Oh, wow.
Mainly off the back of the How to Make Comics magazine that obviously Tony and Andy put together. Inspired me to brand the whole thing around it, so that when the kids get a package,
that book in itself. I mean, never mind that it's them. But
that's the only thing selling today.
It's a brilliant book, especially for kids. It's got such an identity. But kids, I mean, have you had like feedback about books like that?
Yeah, as soon as people pick up the magazine and not really sure what it is, but as soon as you tell them the concept of it, it's a book you read through, but are encouraged to create, and the characters and the designs and stuff as you go along, they're immediately bought into it. They're like, it's different to the classical How to Draw, where it's like, here's a head, here's a body, that functions.
You're actively really involved in this book that you're reading.
Yeah, you're involved in that emotional essence. And then at the Andy and Tony put that great idea at the end of including 4 pre-panelled empty pages at the back, so you can create the next story in that adventure. So really exciting.
And that's great. I mean, obviously you get great feedback from the kits that you send out to hospitals.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just fueled it being bigger and bigger every time, because they're like, what about if you added this? And so getting that balance of cost and
because it is. I mean, just publishing comics in itself is a balancing act, but then you've got the charity work, all that. There's lots of like sort of juggling balls in the air and stuff, but you're doing bloody well, dude.
I think I've aged a bit though. I've got some grey hair. Definitely receding.
He hasn't got any hair. He's pulled it all out. But there's so much more. Like you say, there's always stuff to come, isn't there? There's
always something on our website. There's always 3 or 4 pre-orders up, ready to be come in the next few months. So.
I mean, obviously the Spark is now in the States.
Hopefully, if all fingers go well and printing's fine, it'll come out in Nottingham in 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
nice.
that is the plan for it to be released then.
That,
Obviously, Kickstarters get there before that, but
as it should be.
As it should be always.
It should be always. You heard it here first. Send your complaints to. No, I'm only joking. But obviously the Spark is the immediate one.
Yes.
But you've obviously got, because you're publishing now, you've got titles.
Yeah.
I guess for the first quarter of next year. How far ahead do you?
Yeah, well, we're working pretty much till kind of mid next year. So we've got 3 or 4 coming out right now. We've got Snuffy and Zoe Book 2 coming out, which is all about pirates. That's really fun. Our Gallant Amos creator, obviously Rob Barnes, is creating a whole new series. So yeah, it's like a 1920s detective bunny. So
sign me up, because Gallant and Amos is a great book anyway.
And he's also working on not only that, but he's also working on a whole nother IP for the magazine as well, the Spark magazine. So that's going to be really interesting.
Nice. So is that for future issues?
For future issues, yeah. Nice. So we're looking to try and do issue 2 in like January, February time, if all goes well.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
And then obviously we've got like Saffron was a Kickstarter that was coming up. We've got Ella Upgraded, and we've got the Little Heroes 3rd anthology that's at the printers right now. So hopefully that will be with everyone who's been patiently waiting for me to get that one done.
Yeah, but everyone will get what they wanted in the end anyway, won't they?
Yeah, we've padded it with a lot more stories than originally was intended, so it took a bit longer.
Yeah, because you're doing so much, but you're careful not to overreach.
Yeah, I try to make sure, like, I've actually started taking on more editors now. So, like, obviously Tony's doing the magazine. I've got Ellie doing some of the other books, and I've just got Tom from the Comic Smell to actually start taking over on the Gallant Amos stuff with Rob Barnes. So that's another thing that I don't have to try and do on my plate. So having more people in the family to help is always always great.
And it really is. You know, Little Heroes is just getting bigger and better every year, isn't it? You know, and hopefully, if we can help those kids in hospital and stuff, because it's such a great cause. So and if you don't know about it, folks, then shame on you. But where can people go to find out more about like the charity and the Fair Spark stuff?
Yeah, so I've just put up a new site on littleheroescomics.co.uk, because unfortunately it got hacked a little while back. Evil people in the world. And if not, you can always find us on Twitter, the Little Heroes Comics. But the fairsparkbooks.co.uk as well, for all of the books and the blog and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So you'll find us somewhere.
Yeah, and you'll probably see him at conventions as well. So you've got Nottingham coming up.
Nottingham next, and then we're not booked up for anything else until True Believers. Yeah.
Nice.
Always a good start to the year.
Yeah. And we're always talking about you anyway, so...
Yeah, well, now that Tony's on board, it's part of the parcel, you know. He has to get his one phrase in a week, otherwise he loses his contract. So.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, that's on the record.
Yeah, he likes raisin cookies. I don't know why, but that's the payment. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. On that bombshell. Thanks, Aaron.
No worries, thanks, Vince.
Okay, it's the end of the day. I'm with Dan Butcher.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it's quite. We're about to start packing up fairly soon.
I feel full of beans, full of energy.
Do you?
Yeah.
But I tell you what,
because
you
only
saying
despite that, because then Tony said we're going to be complaining.
Oh yeah. We are absolutely thriving on energy.
Pumped up, ready, boom.
We're just ready. We're just going. When we head home, we're just going to get on that motorway and just drive, baby.
Ton down the motorway.
No.
Vince has been telling me off for going too fast down the motorway.
Yes. Why do I have to be the parent?
For legal reasons, let's not talk about the speed.
But why do I always have to be the parent?
I don't know. I think that's the comedy dynamic we've built up over several hundred episodes. It's evolved naturally.
Yeah, it's true. But how's your day?
Yeah, not been a bad day.
Yeah, it's been very much more of an art-based day, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you've been done really well on the art prints, on the art stuff. Sold a few comics.
Yeah.
We've got plans for what we're going to do with our remaining stock.
Yeah. Which we'll announce someone soon.
Yeah.
You sold some Vanguard?
Yeah, sold a Vanguard. Good through that. I was thinking, when I'm going to get a sale, and then that song from the Transformers came on, You Got the Touch, and the guy said, I want to buy a copy of Vanguard, and I was like, yes!
It was meant to be.
Yeah, and bang.
I mean, to be honest, that's a magical song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
Could have timed it more perfectly in the house of the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who don't know, I don't know if we do. Did we say it earlier?
We're in a church.
We're in a church. Yeah. Leamington Comic Con takes place in All Saints Church, All Saints Parish Church, I think, which is a gorgeous venue.
The Lord looked down upon his second favourite son and said, "But sell a copy of Vanguard." And lo, it was done.
For an affordable price.
Yeah, for a great price.
For a great price.
A competitive price.
Yeah.
In a small press market.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're kind of going all over the shop now.
Yeah, we are going all over the shop. But you're not going to be at the next couple of cons.
No, sadly not, no. You guys are going to be repping the APC.
Yeah. So if people want to get your copies of Vanguard, because you'll still be able to... They're still available?
Indeed you do, yes. Contact me via the Twitter or on Facebook or any other social media platform, and they're ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's very good with the postal service, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's jokes like no, because we're not tired. We're raring to go.
Yeah.
So this is us signing off. We both have no idea how well we've done in terms of interviews.
No. I've got a cracking John Wagner one. If it's and Dan Cornwell, they did a panel together. If the audio came out, that's yet to be checked.
Yeah, if the audio came out, that will probably be coming up right now.
Thank you, first of all, for not only supporting Lem Comic Con, but also coming to speak to both John Wagner and Dan Cornwell, partners in crime on Rok of the Reds and soon to be released Rok the God, which we are here mainly to talk about today. I dare say when we come to the question and answer session, there may be other questions on what subject I don't know. But let's first off kick off with Rok of the Reds, and for anyone unaware of Rok of the Reds, anyone who's been living under a rock for the last few years, I know this is a project that you've held in your heart for a number of years now, John. Seeing you and Dan across a number of Comic Cons, it's Rok of the Red that you're very keen to talk about. So where are we up to with both Carl Dixon, Rok, who's taken over his place on the Radford Reds, and we'll talk about Rok the God and the Kickstarter later on.
Okay. That's a very broad question. I think.
What happened in the first story arc then, or the first season?
Well, Rok is an alien of almost magical powers. And most of you know this because I've twisted most of your arms to buy it. But he's fleeing galactic assassins, and he hides out in this planetary backwater called Earth. And he lands on Earth, and he takes the shape of the first person that he meets, who is bad boy footballer Kyle Dixon. And in the guise of Dixon, he begins to play for lowly Radford Reds and discovers a love of football. But meanwhile, the assassins are closing in. And there's a big finale at Wembley in the cup final when the assassins catch up with him. And I can't tell you anymore. Most of you know it anyway.
But it's a lot more than dismissively describe it as Roy of the Rovers meets E.T. Like you say, you know, Kyle Dixon, he's not a likeable person to begin with, is he? No. He is arguably a kind of stereotypical kind of footballer that we think of, the one who make the red tops every single Sunday morning. Yeah, and he seems to be quite happy with that as well.
He's the unacceptable face of football. And it's quite an interesting contrast of this alien who turns out to be a much nicer person than old Kyle Dixon, which is one of the joys of Rok, that at heart he's quite a charmer.
And I like the way the first story arc plays around a season of football. And so we're going to go on to the second season shortly when we talk about Rok the God. But Dan, how did you originally get involved, and what doors did it open? Because I know, speaking in the past, you used to be a bus driver. Clearly you must have been writing in those weird hours there, right as an artist, fine from somewhere. Tell us your story behind all of this.
Well, John, I was driving the bus in Brighton, and I got a Facebook message. I used to leave my phone in the binnacle of the bus, and every traffic light just have a quick look, you know, not meant to. And this one day it pinged with a Facebook message, and got to the traffic lights, lifted it up, had a quick look, and it said John Wagner. And
you didn't crash the bus.
He
did.
Yeah. I didn't believe it. I thought, I don't know, the phone's been hacked, my mate's having a laugh, something like that. But got to the terminus, had a look, and it was from John. He just said, do you like football and can you draw it? Whether I could or couldn't wasn't an issue. I just said yes.
Circle, you can draw a football,
yeah,
can't
exactly. I just said yes. He goes, okay, I got your email, I'll contact you later. And I remember the bus was due out in about 5 minutes, and this is when I smoked, and I must have stood there for half an hour just smoking cigarettes, chain smoking, and there's a queue of people waiting to get on the bus. I was just too excited to drive this bus, but then I got home, and it's one of those moments when you think, everything's going to change.
Yeah.
When this happens, everything's going to change, and it did. That led on to John twisting Matt's arm to a degree.
Matt Smith 2000 AD.
I don't think he needed much twisting, he just needed a suggestion. He was quite happy to have Dan working for him.
And Matt at the 40th...
Because he's cheap.
Yeah. Exactly. And then Matt came over at the 40th and said, John sent me over. And he goes, I understand you'd like to work 2000 and do some work for 2000. I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, you're on. I goes, what would it be? And he goes, for John Wagner Dread.
Whoa. So that was your introduction to 2008?
To working for them, yeah. And it was a five-part Judge Dredd. It was your debut. Unbelievable.
And things did change then, with absolutely. Rok of the Red and that in your back pocket.
Well, the irony of it is that because of this, Dan was able to go fully freelance and then could no longer afford to draw Rok at the rates I was able to pay, which is why we're doing this Kickstarter.
It still amazes me that I managed to do Rok of the Reds
while driving a bus.
120, 30 pages whilst having a full-time job. Because now, I'm not saying I struggle now when I don't drive a bus, but it still baffles me how did I get 30 pages out whilst driving a bus within a year, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, you did it pretty well. Yeah.
Which,
I suppose it's time finds you, doesn't it, in these sort of places? And it's that desire to want it, I think.
We just don't have a day off. You just drive the bus, draw a Rok, and that was just what it was.
A bit more of days off every now and again now, or is it quite full on with doing Rok the God? See, I'm segging in there to Rok the God with other commitments.
I'm beginning to manage it a bit better. I think to start off, you're all over the place because becoming freelance, self-employed, if you like. I was new to it, not sure if it's going to work. So I remember last Christmas it was pretty bad because I didn't plan things well enough.
Right.
Sending out invoices and getting money in at the right time. All of that was
Forgetting Christmas presents for your kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, so that was a bit rough, but it's something you learn as you go along.
Okay. And was it always a talent search, John, behind Rok of the Red?
Well, initially, yeah. I had to find everyone that was going to work on it. It started with Dan, and then I asked 2000 AD what colourists they use that I might also use, and they sent Dan and me 3 different samples, I think. And
I think he was thought Pete Doherty, wasn't he? But he was busy, I think.
Well, I don't know. I think Abby Bulmer was our first choice there. And
who's the other one? Chris?
No, Chris Blythe wasn't one of them. But, Simon might have been one.
Yeah.
Simon Boland, I'm not sure. But
and was it the same with Jim Campbell on letters? Or did you have someone in mind for that?
I read the 2000 AD forum sometimes, and Jim was on a lot, and he's a cantankerous git. I quite liked that. I liked his argumentative style.
I thought you said something else then. Sorry.
Jim could start an argument in an empty house. And so I engaged him, and he was very happy to do it. And,
it turned out he was actually a designer by trade as well.
Yeah, he worked on newspapers, and
really?
he does all our production.
Right, yeah.
And he's been so good that we've actually given him a share of the royalties.
Wow.
We couldn't do it without him, really.
So we've got the end of the first season. We've got the new Carl Dixon single-handedly saving the club and pushing them up the table.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly we have a whole new story, a whole new season, a whole new set of challenges for Rok, who in the 28-page free preview on Kickstarter at the moment does give you a really good setup for not only what's coming next, but also where the original Carl Dixon is as well, who himself is going on something of a literal and metaphorical journey of his own.
It's like a pint-sized buddy movie. Kyle and referee Nigel Bull have both been shrunk to the size of a Barbie doll by Rok, and he keeps them in a freezer cabinet in his spaceship. And at the beginning of the second season, the freezer cabinet goes on the blink, and Kyle and referee Bull escape. So you've got this pint-sized buddy movie going on right through the book.
Well, that's what fascinates me. It isn't just the story of the titular character, and again, it isn't just the very straightforward Roy the Rovers. It interests me with your interest in those old school boys' adventure comics of our youth and your youth, and also your interest in sci-fi. Where did the original idea come from, and how has it morphed into Rok suddenly being asked in a very backhanded way, can you be the gods? For reasons that become apparent on the last page of the free preview.
I'm not sure what the question is.
I'd say, it was a two-parter. Where did the original idea come from, Rok? Was it just from a desire of fusing what you enjoyed as a kid yourself for a new generation?
Alan Grant and I, were about 25 years ago, were doing an anthology comic, a typical British anthology comic. And one of the stories was obviously going to have to be a football story, but how could we do a football story with a difference? We'd done another character in Eagle called Doomlord.
Oh, yes.
And with Doomlord, we'd explored a lot of the same kind of ideas, and so we thought, well, some other bastards have the right to Doomlord now. Let's just take him anyway and move him into this football. So we took a lot of the elements that made Doomlord such a good character, and we combined them with the football story.
Right.
So Rok in many ways sprang out of that, and he sprang out of Roy of the Rovers, and mainly all the old comics of my youth.
Yeah.
The Victor, the Hornet, the Hotspur, all the good old DC Thompson, Dundee comics. In a way, Rok is a homage to all that. It's a good, simple storytelling.
Oh, certainly, it's certainly got that tongue-in-cheek attitude a lot of our comics have, whether it's 2000 AD or whether it's the Beano at the other end. And I think that's a real great sense. It certainly feels like a John Wagner comic I am reading when I read it, you see. And so I'm really fascinated with this new 130-page graphic novel and the Kickstarter that launched only recently. Because I've also seen that even for 50 quid, there are a few nice little throw-ins by a certain Brian Boland, for example, who's gifted you a cover, I suppose.
I don't think he's gifted it.
Well, not gifted it. You're gifting it to the readers, is what I should say.
But Simon Bisley gifted us a good rock illustration.
Did you remember he did it for you?
He did, indeed, yeah. And we're having Abby colour it up, and we're offering it as a poster. It's a very limited edition poster because we won't do it beyond the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So if only 20 people order that, that's all we'll do. And then there's original that somebody told me we should sell for a huge price because it's Bisley. So we put slightly less than huge price on it. So
but certainly something there, yeah.
It's a Bisley original.
And it's what often drives people not only to the Kickstarters but to those bigger pledges, because those extra little rewards. How do you go about thinking of a Kickstarter? Like I say, Dan's very busy now, so the Kickstarter seems to be the most obvious way forward, where you can not only control the quality but also the quantity at a rate that you want to do. So how did that come about, other than those sheer logistics?
Well, it's when Dan told me he couldn't afford to draw it anymore. So our only route out was the Kickstarter. I mean, I totally understand, because if you're a freelance, you cannot work for the kind of rates that I can pay. So you need a decent living wage. So the only way to raise the money for it was a Kickstarter. If it works, we'll be bringing out a graphic novel roughly next summer. If it doesn't work, we'll bring out the 6 issues, but it could take a number of years, because we'll have to make each issue pay for itself before we can go on to the next one.
But it's definitely something we're going to see the light of day.
Oh, well, as long as I live that long.
Yeah. You've still got that final Judge Dredd story to write.
I'll maybe get the scripts done just in case.
Leave some nasty notes for Dan. Yeah. So Dan, how do you fit in this? Because obviously your 28 page at least have already been drawn up, been coloured in, been letting it's out there in the digital world, and again free to download. It really gives you not only a taste, but to be honest, I was quite amazed that 28 pages was given away. That's more than an American comic these days.
Yeah, it's. But you got to whet people's appetites, and I think that it does.
That's pouring a shower over them, and
exactly,
it works.
Yeah. But we hope it works. We hope people want to know how the story continues. Because it leaves it. Doesn't tell you too much.
No,
it is a tease. It doesn't give the story away. What's going to happen? You get an idea what could happen, but obviously with John's writing, that can all change. Because as you say, you work. You don't have a long term plan. You do an issue and see how it goes, which way it takes you. So it can go any way. So when I get the script, I have to say, when I get the scripts, each one's better than the last, and I get excited getting the scripts and reading them. And like the first, this series is, Rok of the God was a really good series, and but as John described it to me, he said you're fleshing out the universe in that story. You setting everything up.
Yes.
Character building, this and that. This series, it's all more rounded. It's all set up already, so now you can really play with the story and the characters, and it shows. Obviously, in these next scripts I've got 2, issue 3, issue 2, and they're really good. Especially, like I say, the buddy movie part of it. Bull and Dixon on the run.
But also, Rok's mum is a bit of a character, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
She seems to have one reason. She explains to him why she wants him to become a god, and then again, that sort of cliffhanger twist at the end. There's actually more of a worse reason for why, without giving too much away. Like I say, it's for free. People hopefully will find out this Kickstarter, maybe pledge to it, certainly download those amazing first 28 pages. Like I say, you not only get a real taste of it, it's a great jumping on point for anyone who might not be familiar with the original series.
Yeah,
we've heard nothing but good.
Yeah, we didn't think we could lose by giving everyone access to the first episode, because If you like it, you'll want to read on. If you don't, well, save yourself some money.
And which of the characters speak to you the most? Which ones do you enjoy writing? Just because maybe they're sheer tenacity, or maybe, you know, someone like Kyle who's clearly on that redemptive journey eventually.
I'm really enjoying writing Kyle and Bully. Bully is a corrupt referee who's been taking bribes. And in the first series, Rok gets angry at him. That's why he shrinks him in the middle of a game, because the referee disappears. Everybody thinks he's gone off to Panama to spend his ill-gotten gains, but he's actually in Rok's freezer.
But Kyle doesn't like him much either, does he, at the beginning of Rok the God?
No.
But Kyle's almost like a bad guy, isn't he? He's got such an attitude anyway. So that, everyone, you know, when you watch films, when you read comics, you're generally attracted to the bad guys, aren't you? Because the bad guys have got this kind of pull, and because Kyle's got such an attitude.
Yeah, bad guys are generally a lot more fun to write than good guys. That's why Dread's a lot of fun to write.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get
on to
good guy or onto that when we end up to the questions. But what can people expect then from this proposed graphic novel when it comes out next summer?
Well, if you like Rok of the Reds, this one is better. It's
firming out the world a bit more, isn't it? It's developing maybe some more of these characters, and
it's a much better. Well, Rok of the Reds is great. This one is like I said, when I've read the scripts and there's no pictures, I'm just sitting there reading the script. It put a huge smile on my face, laughing out loud.
Lovely.
Sections in it, and that's what you want, I think, in a book. And it makes you feel it's one of those books that doesn't take itself too serious, which is what I like. You enjoy reading it. At the end of it, you've got a smile and you've enjoyed it, and that's what it's about, I think.
We're building up to season 3 where Rok takes the place of Donald Trump. He sorts the world's problems.
You heard it here first, everybody. Well, I think it is quite a clipped panel and about half an hour or so. I think it's only fair to pass on to the audience now any questions about Rok of the Reds, or any questions about Rok the God, or even any questions about anything else both Dan and John have done in the past. For example, Dan's also worked on Judge Dredd, you know. So, question from the lady there in the front.
It's not really about that. It's how do you do writing Rok? Because I'm writing as well, but I hate that.
The best way to do it is to write, even if it's nonsense. If you've got a block, just write something and keep going at it. Alternatively, you could bang your head against the wall, which is what I used to do. I haven't had block for a long while. It's just because I won't tolerate it. I write something. If I'm not getting on with the story, get up to the computer, start typing something. And it helps. It's strange, but it helps. Even if you've written nonsense, you can see little germs in it that are valuable. So that's what I would write something. Don't be blocked. Just get up there. It doesn't matter if you write what you want, but write something. I hope that works.
Question over on the left, sir.
Could I just ask, what is it about Rok that made you want to retain the ownership of it? Is it to do with the character, or is it to do with the time of your life? I'm really pleased about it.
Well, it's his experience, really. I mean, I wish I'd retained the rights to Judge Dredd, but it wasn't possible at the time. The only things I've ever made big money on were things I owned. It's like ownership is everything. And I didn't need... I'm in the position now where I can actually sell things to 2000 AD and retain all the rights on them. I just have to take a little less money for them. So that's what I would always do. I would never create a new story and give the rights to anybody else.
Wasn't that a thought process at one time with Rok of the Reds, possibly serialising it through 2000 AD?
Yeah, Matt Smith, the editor, was quite willing to run Rok of the Reds, but I didn't think it fitted in 2000 AD. It might well have. But when I decided that we would publish the Rok the God ourselves, I suggested to Matt that he might like to do that as a creator-owned project, but by then they had revived Roy of the Rovers. So they said, we've already got a football story, sorry, get lost. So, but I would never do anything work for hire anymore. I would never create a character that somebody else could own, because it's mine. And partly that's why Rok is so dear to us, because he's ours.
Yeah, of course.
He's not anybody else's.
Yeah.
And you can do with him what you will.
Yes.
Whereas Dredd, John's probably, as everyone knows, often muted the fact that he'd love to write the death of Dredd story, but it's not allowed. Whereas with Rok, if we want to kill him, we can. We can do.
Seems to be daft that they fight against that idea, almost creating, even if it's even if it's a Dark Knight kind of tale in itself. Maybe one day.
Question from the front there, Ryan.
Just a quick question for that, actually. So, do you have a bit more joy, as you said, with Rok controlling the too? When you're doing something like Dredd, I can imagine it must be very prescriptive on what imagery you want to show you. Very set on how you design a character, how you draw Dredd. Do you find a bit more freedom with yourself and John when you're doing stuff like Rok? Do you get a bit more freedom to design and draw how you want to draw?
I think you do, because I have made a couple of mistakes on Dredd, or the Max Normal series I've just completed. It was last year, I think now, where I drawn the shuggy tables and I hadn't read the issues back then when they had the shuggy tables, and I got them all wrong. So I had to change all of them. But yeah, with Rok, I'm designing everything. John has ideas, as in the character Rok. He said big red alien. And I think you gave me a Hellboy as a reference, and I thought, well, I don't think it looks anything like Hellboy. It's got horns, but it's certainly not like Hellboy, same colour. But and the same with Rok's world. It's an open book. I can do what I want with it, and so far it's worked. And he's not said no, that doesn't look right, or it's the Skrull, the bad guys in the next series. And John gave me a brief idea of what he would like. And it just lets you run with it, which is good. Whereas Dredd, like you say, it has. I've heard people complain about the Law Master when I've drawn a Law Master wrong in their eyes.
Comic fans can be very unforgiving, can't they?
But a lot of people like the way you do it.
Yeah, the latest one I've just done, actually, the page a couple of weeks ago. I've updated it a bit again. Because I can't stop playing with it, and
you'll be on a scooter at the end.
Yeah.
But scoot.
I tried to implement the big lights on the Law Master, which I kind of made them like LEDs before, but now I've got the big lights on it, so it's harking back a bit to Carlos's original.
Do you miss the days then, John, when maybe in the birth of any character, whether it's back in 1938 with Superman or even back in 1977 with Judge Dredd? Do you miss the days of that sort of experimentation? There was a lot of experimentation with Judge Dredd, even from issue to issue. Like, for example, in the Judge Caligula sort of saga, they seem to be an evolution of uniforms, depending on which artist was writing it. And to me, that sort of lack of continuity, for want of a better word, as a child, really spoke to me. Anything could happen.
Yeah. I never liked it. I always thought they should have taken closer notice and have more of a style guide. There are too many differences in it, but it's too late to change all that now, so people just do pretty much what they like. But had I been editing it, I would have had a style guide. You draw Dredd like this, he's got this many links on his chain, his badge looks like this, he does not have stubble.
Whoops. But we're there now with the Dredd.
I can't help adding stubble to characters. That's what I do. Rok hasn't got stubble yet, has he? I might give him a go.
No.
Well, that'd be evil Rok, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. We have got time for a few more questions, because although it says 27 minutes past, we're going to go up to about 22 if we can. You've got a question there, sir.
Certainly. Rok the God's coming out as one graphic novel, hopefully.
Yes.
Over 6 issues. Does that mean you have to change the way you structure the story from the first one, or is it going to be the same sort of...
No, I'm still writing it basically as 6 issues. But, I mean, it will go smoothly into a graphic novel. But just in case the Kickstarter fails and we have to go to the issues, then I'm still writing it as 6 separate issues. Well, I'm having a feeling we might have to be 7.
I think the more you do, the better. You know, free reign on it now if you like.
Yeah.
But that's all the beauty of owning it yourself, isn't it? If you want to kick in a 7th issue, you can do.
Yeah, nobody can turn around to us and say, well, you've got to finish it here.
Yeah.
We do what we like.
And I dare say it would eventually, if it did come out issue by issue, be gathered up as a trade paperback sometime in the future anyway.
Of course,
yeah.
We keep talking about, we send each other emails and dreaming about doing nice hardback versions of this and that, and that'd be so nice.
Yeah, if the Kickstarter works and we go, it'll have to be a few grand over, then we'll do everybody a hardback edition rather than the soft cover.
And how long's
or oversized, possibly, as well.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah, November the 1st it ends.
November the 1st.
So get in there quickly.
So still a month. Remember the 1st of November.
But preferably get in October.
Whilst there's still some Brian Boland goodies to be had, and basically, any more questions on Rock or even on Judge Dredd? There is this. I wonder what question you're going to have on.
Is there anything you've worked on, either of you, that you've worked on and you really didn't enjoy a particular storyline or something like that, and you just kind of felt you had to work on it?
Too many things. I've created stories that I realised I didn't want to write shortly after creating them, and once or twice I've been able to say to the editor, could you finish that off for me? I've quite enough of it. And there was another story that Alan Grant and I wrote a long time ago for, I think it was for Eagle. It was rugby league. I said to Alan, well, let's write a rugby league story. So we wrote the first episode, pretty good I thought, Hard Man's Game, we called it. And then we realised we didn't know a thing about rugby league. So I had to call up the editor and say, I'll give you the money back. Just rip that script up.
And did he accept the money back?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I think artistically, it's the things I don't like to do. There's not been a story I didn't enjoy drawing. I think you get certain pages, I think, as readers as well, generally talking heads can be a bit boring, you know, and I always try to make different camera angles, you know.
Get the old Wallywood 22 pounds out,
that can get a bit tedious, although the two first page, the second page and the third page of Rok the God was really enjoyable. There's 2 black pages.
I thought this was going to go on for 28 pages. No wonder they're giving it away for free.
That would be Although it works because the story's so good.
Well, John Byrne did that in one of the Alpha flights where most of the issue was in a snowstorm. And there was Snowbird walking all around in it, and that was about it. Like, what the hell are you getting paid for it, pal?
I think someone come back to me today and said, oh, those 2 pages were great. The 2 black ones.
Have you tried selling them online as an original piece of artwork?
The best thing about it is I didn't have to pay him for them.
That's how you keep your costs down. The next place takes place in deepest, darkest space.
Issue 2's a lot of that.
Are there any other questions? All the kids have come for the Hellblazer panel. Question at the back, sir.
Do you think the destruction of Mega City 2 in one of the stories that was basically California was a mistake because you lost so much potential for the material?
Well, I didn't do it. I objected to it strongly. Well, I'm objecting now. No, I didn't do it. It just happened. That's one of the things about Dredd. When you sell all the rights, or any story you sell the rights to, you've no control over it anymore. Nobody has to ask you what to do with it. So that happened. It wasn't on my watch. It was probably a mistake. But then again, it's a comic. You can resurrect it. Yeah. Come out of the shower and, oh, there it is again.
That's a reference that's going to divide the room, that shower. Question over here.
I was going to ask about, what do you think of the state of British comics in the 21st century? Because when I was a kid back in the 70s or whatever, we had a wealth of comics to choose from. I mean, I read my sister's Bunty and Bella's and
Me too,
Action 2000 AD, Wisdom and Chips and all that. So where do you think we are with particularly British comics in the 21st century?
well, they're not doing that well, but one thing it has done is spawned quite a healthy independent market. You see an awful lot of independent comics that you wouldn't have seen back then. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad partly because there was work for so many people, so many artists and writers back then. There were so many stories. And these days you see really good artists and writers that can't get work, who are working for fans. That's where I found Dan, you know. And it's sad that these people with talent actually can't get in on the game.
I think as well, making comics readily available. When I was young, you go to your local newsagents. I was a paper boy.
Yeah.
You had stacks of comics to choose from. You know, stacks of them, and that's what your pocket money, your paper round money went on. That and sweets.
Of course, they cost tuppence and threepence.
Whereas now you go to the there isn't local paper shops now. It's Tesco's, isn't it? Tesco's and Co-op, and they don't stack these kind of things. They stack, which they're still comics to a degree. The bagged.
Yeah, that's my partner's stuff.
Yeah, they have those, but it's a shame you can't. If they had those spinning racks, in these stores with piles of comics in them, I think they would sell. Because I've been to cons before where they Oldham one a little while ago.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
Kids coming in and the wonder on their faces and seeing all this comic stuff. It's like, well, if they were available in your local shop.
Yeah.
They might sell, but because they're not available, you can't buy something that's not there.
Or they're shoved down underneath the way these shelves now come out. All of the plastic you have to fight through to find the one comic that has.
People can't buy them if they're not there.
No.
And young children aren't going to go online to buy comics online.
No.
Unless you read them online, I suppose, but it's not the same as...
And I think I remember telling you in August at not another Comic Con how my local WH Smiths, they don't keep 2000 AD on show because it's the most nicked comic in the shop. And so, how are kids going to find 2000 AD if it's not there?
This is my biggest gripe I have. If they're not there, people can't buy them, especially children. And children are the next generation readers. If they're not there, they can't buy them. They have to be there. Because it's like I said, these are Tesco's now. These are Co-ops and Sainsbury's. They're money-making machines.
Yes,
so they don't gamble on these kind of things for whatever. Purely because they're not sure it's going to make money, and that's such a shame. It's such a shame.
It's not only that, but if you want to get a comic into like WH Smith's or Tesco's, you have to pay them like 20 or 30 grand just to stock it. And an independent can't do that.
And it's a doorway into reading for children.
Yes, it really is. If you were here later when we interview Hannah Berry, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in her role as a comic laureate. I've just had the nod from the boss, so we are at an end. On a plus note, the Beano does do better week in, week out, ever since it celebrated its birthday, and I know 2000 AD still does well. So there is still hope there, and of course, with so many people being comic fans with their own children, hopefully that's next generation will choose for themselves. Comics are a good thing. So thank you for your time. I'd like to thank John and Dan for their time today as well. Thank you very much. And do not forget to back the Kickstarter on until November the 1st. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, and you need to check it. We'll probably go talk a bit more about Rock of the Reds in the future anyway. Yeah. Especially with something that we may plan in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Do we want to say that?
We've got a giveaway, a signed copy of Rok the God by John Wagner and Dan Cornwell. So we'll be giving that away on the next podcast.
Yes.
I want it to go to a rock fan. So we're going to ask a hard question.
Yes. So look forward to that, folks. Get reading your Rock of the Reds books. You could win something quite special. Right. So that's us from Leamington Comic Con. Hope you've enjoyed the past few interviews. Some returning voices we've had a chat to. There was a couple that we wanted to talk to, but they were actually been busy all day.
Yeah, been really busy.
Yeah. So stay tuned because this is the first of a few convention specials. Next up will be Nottingham. But for now, is there anything you want to leave the good people with there?
I just want them to stay awesome.
Ah, beautiful. So there you go. Was that a disaster?
Amazing.
Was it a success? Yeah. We'll find out when we edit this.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Yeah.
Just because you miss me, when you do the interviews, can you include the phrase ginger minge in one of them? Just because it's me and you miss me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we remember, we'll
Thank you.
Yeah.
slip it in.
It might be in the outtakes.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So
yeah,
listen-
I feel represented somewhat. Then
Yeah.
you know.
My favourite interview was with Darrel. Dan. Cut in whatever appropriate.
Were you trying?
John Wagner.
John Wagner.
Cornwell.
Saying like Alexa, John Wagner.
We'll just edit that as appropriate.
Yeah, you could have to
Yeah.
edit it.
If we don't get any interviews, we could always just ask like Alexa or whatever your thing is, and just record that and pretend it's a creator.
Oh, we could do our fake John Wagner interview that we did before at the 2000 AD thing.
Yeah.
God, there's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember we got press passes when he got one interview with Jason Atomic, and I see him every week anyway.
We were
did
never
talk that
invited
up a
back.
storm.
We're only joking. There was only one anyway. Yes,
We
but
couldn't get any fucking interview. Well, we had that thing with Pat Mills in the evening, but that was off the books.
Yeah. Vince and his cat army.
ACP unrated.
let it
Off
go.
doc.
Let it go.
Cat army had legs, man. I'll tell you that now. That would have
Loads
been
of
a
them.
great book.
It may still have legs. Maybe I just don't want to ruin it just yet.
Yeah, don't jinx
I
it.
feel like there could be a scene in Pat's next book where someone comes in and like he's there, just like the worst. He's had the worst fucking day, and someone comes in and pitches like Cat's Army.
Look, do you,
Cat's army sounds like Dad's army.
do you know what's hilarious about this? And this has gone on since the actual
Here we
day
go.
happened,
Oh, no.
right?
Oh, no.
Let's set the
right.
record straight.
Since the actual event happened, there are people listening to this show that think that I actually pitched Pat Mills this story when I did nothing of the sort.
The best bit of that was Pat's face, because he's trying to be nice, wasn't he?
Yeah,
You know,
he was.
but
And
he's
nice
just-
about an idea that I didn't even have.
I feel like he's kind of like any moment his top lip was about to draw up over his teeth in like a vicious sneer.
Yeah. And it was just unbelievable.
Lisa was just looking at me with that "you are a wanker" look.
Yeah.
She gets quite a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, talk about being thrown under the bus. It was a fucking...
What mates are for.
It was glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was glorious, Dan. You weren't on the receiving end. And I've let it go. I've let it go for a couple of years.
You've moved on.
I've moved on, but you just
not
it
bugged
just
you.
keeps coming back. You just won't let it lie, will you? It's like a dad joke. It just keeps happening every 6 months.
Well, I do think if you drew a load of cats as if they were in Dad's army and called it
If
Cat's
I did,
army,
here's a question for listeners: if I did a print, Vince's Cat Army, and it's a page just full of evil-looking cats, would you buy it? There you go.
Venn diagram again, Dan. Bring it out again.
Bring that.
Yeah.
Actually, I just wonder if anyone would buy my prints anyway. I need the money.
Buy
Anyway,
your pants.
From past experience with us, no.
no.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we're really excited about this print. Nobody bought it.
Yeah. Yeah. One day we're going to tell the unvarnished truth about the world of Prince.
Yeah.
ACP exposed.
Jose. Yeah.
And then people would just come back and say, well, you should have done some decent ones then.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Oh.
We can always do one of those.
Mindcell. I bet they say that. Yeah.
We could do the calendars for like people posing with comics in front of their genitals.
Why don't we
That'd
do
go down a storm.
Why don't we do those things you used to get KP nuts in pubs, and every time you put
Exactly,
a packet of nuts up, it exposes more of a boob or something like that. They're good.
No.
What?
No.
But it doesn't have to be boobs. It can be any gender.
No.
No.
Like an A3 print size of Tony's genitals.
Yeah.
And like you take the nuts down and it exposes more.
Yeah.
All right, and Dan, you can take the picture.
We could use real fur.
I've got a load of them already on my phone.
Tell me the truth. Have you ever sent your junk to a person? Picture.
No. I'm too old for that game.
No.
That was a silence there.
No, I said no straight away. Why don't you listen to me?
I can make the joke about the camera lens not being big enough, etc.
Yeah, good angle.
That's good angle, yeah.
Yeah, get someone else to take the picture.
Sadly, in my case, it was a police officer.
And then a
Story
doctor.
for the next volume of the Whore Chronicles.
But Butcher's dozen. Anyway, right. Do we have any shout-outs this week, James? I mean, sorry for that, everyone. You know,
the comic aside.
Yeah, but it's because it's early recording.
Can I tease the listeners with my Halloween idea?
Yeah,
yes, you can.
Well, it's going to be a competition, script-based, writing a Halloween horror script.
Oh, yes.
More details in the next show. But, all you writers out there, get those pencils nice and sharpened up, and we're going to be running a little writing competition. Only a 2-page script, so let's see what you can come up with.
Yeah,
I didn't find out too bad.
Most of our listeners, crayons, because they don't let you have anything sharp in there.
We love you, listeners. Don't listen to these two.
We love both of you.
Mum.
Yeah. Hello, Mum. Anyway, what are the shout? Expect more details on that, because it's going to be a fun little topic for the month of October, as well as Inktober has properly kicked off now.
Yeah.
So might as well say well done to everyone that's kicking on with it. I've already seen some amazing stuff. As we record, it's only just started, and I've already seen some amazing stuff. How these people are going to keep this sort of momentum going. There are loads of different lists out there. I may try one, who knows, but I'm not going to make any promises, because these things just sort of, before you know it, 3 days have passed and you haven't done anything. But
I'm usually always doing a comic in October.
Yeah.
So I rarely get the chance to do one.
Yeah. But yeah, go and look for the hashtag Inktober if you're just a fan of art, and you will see tons of it everywhere this month, which is brilliant to see. And no doubt, and it's becoming more frequent as the years go on, there'll probably be some Inktober books being produced because of it, because a lot of people are making comics, or they're doing art books or things like that. So yeah, who knows? What you see now you'll probably be able to get a printed copy of in the near
future.
What,
we should put a thread up in the group and sticky it, and people can put all their Inktober drawings in there.
People have been posting a few, haven't they? They've been nice to see. Yeah, we should have it all in one go, shouldn't we?
Yeah, all in one thread.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do that as we come off the show tonight.
Nice one.
Yeah. Anyway, from that, does anyone else have any other shout-outs?
Oh, I've got a few. Yeah. So first, Kev Couling. He sent me a lovely Soho Red pin up today. That's very nice of him.
Yeah, that's really
thanks,
good.
Kev, and thanks for the review of the Hall Chronicles, which you posted. Very kind of you. The Hilda is coming to Harrogate, and consequently Thought Bubble. The 4th to the 24th of November at the Mercer Gallery, be a Hilda exhibition. We've got all kinds of little surprises for you at it. It contains original sketches, never before seen art, and it's a must for those attending Thought Bubble. I've got to tell you, it's going to be good fun.
Yeah.
We were having a little planning session about it yesterday, but that's going to be good.
And
the other one,
just to interrupt before we get on that. Speaking of Thought Bubble, on next week's show, it's going to be a bit of a Thought Bubble special. We got one of the guys from the Thought Bubble crew to come on to talk about the event and lots of things that are going on. They're going to be on here for the whole show as well, so that expect more nonsense and some cool comic recommendations and stuff. But yeah, it's been ever since we started the show, we've wanted to talk to the guys from Thought Bubble, and we met them at MCM this year.
Oh, I was going to say if it's the same person.
Yeah.
They came around our table as well. That was good.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good crack. And so look forward to that. So if you're going to the show or you're exhibiting or anything like that, let us know. If you want to find out anything, or we'll try to be information not heavy, but they'll be informative.
If you've got any books drop in at Thought Bubble, a lot of people do, don't they? Well, that's the week to get it in, I think.
Yeah,
send us it, let us know, and we can. We'll try our best to name as many as we can.
Yeah, because we're really.
If you can get like some review copies in of your comic that's going to be at the show, that's ideal.
Yeah,
my review inbox has started filling up already, guys. I've got to tell you.
Nice.
Really has. Yeah.
Normally, we wanted to do a Thought Bubble sort of focus and centric show for a while, but we haven't been able to make it work. So this time we're going to try and because we're recording early as well, we've got a bit of time to do a little bit of research and look at all the great exhibitors on there. But go to the Thought Bubble website, because we're going to be there and we can't wait for the event. So
that's all you need, isn't it? Face it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's worth the price of admission alone, isn't it?
Have you booked your hotel yet, V?
Yep.
Have you?
Yep.
You going to tell me where it is?
No. Just look for the nearest bridge and I'll be under it.
We're not topping and tailing again, thank fuck for that.
Yeah, I know.
Night terrors.
Took me ages to wash that shirt.
Tony is that terror.
Yeah.
The best thing about that night was Dan kept texting us about the movie he was watching.
Yeah. You guys want to know this shit?
Yeah.
What was it? I can't remember. Seagal.
Steven Seagal one, yeah.
And we had some weird Dolph Lundgren film on that was bloody awful.
Oh, we did. It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I've got another shout out.
Yeah,
You
go
ready?
for it.
Ryan K. Lindsay's new Kickstarter, Skyscraper.
Yes.
Art by Mitchell Collins, colours by our pal, who we woke up in the middle of the night, Simon Robbins.
Yes.
A mystery surrounds the suicide of a vice president of a large corporation after she dives off a skyscraper. And it's going to be a newspaper-sized strip. It's looking an interesting thing. And I see the boys well excited because even Bendis retweeted it the other day. So it's
nice.
Right hype. And I've backed it. It looks good. So get on that one. Skyscraper. There you go.
Yes. And I think it's still going to be open as we speak. Another Kickstarter, because I'm not sure. I think we might have mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, but The Legend of La Mariposa. From
Yeah.
James Lawrence is currently the Kickstarter's going at the moment, and that's going to be a nice 200-page collection of the brilliant webcomic he's done. James is a fantastic creator, and the comic's it's going to be so professional looking that you definitely need to check that out.
I've messaged us the other day, and I'm always drawn to people who message us, and which starts out with "All right, lads." Yeah, there you go. That's what you want.
Great intro.
Yeah. He's also a previous guest as well. So,
yes.
So there you go.
And thanks to everyone who pledged on the Spark. We're fully funded now. I think we've got to 128%. It's pretty good.
Brilliant.
Yes.
So we're I think we just got a couple more things to do, and then we're done. We'll be going to print. And it'll be released at Nottingham.
Yes. I just confirmed that the Legend of La Mariposa, as we speak, has got 12 days, so it will still be open when this episode goes live. He hasn't made the goal yet, and he thoroughly deserves to. He's not too far off. So go and pledge, because this is going to be a book you want on your shelves. So there you go. Is that everything? We've probably forgotten something.
Yeah.
I might as well put a shout out to all the people we met at Leamington Comic Con.
And in New York.
Yeah. If you came up and said hello, if you're people that we've never met before and you listen to the show, or maybe you just bought the comics. Maybe you never listened to this episode. Who knows? But whoever you are, thank you very much, because we and all jokes aside, we truly appreciate the support. Just stay tuned, because we'll be doing things weekly, like recommending some comic books.
Yeah.
Which it's odd recommending just after, like 2 days ago, we just did a whole load of recommendations.
No, I've got two as well, guys. Well, one's technically not a comic book, but I've got two.
Well, do you want to kick us off then, and then?
Okay, man. Yes, so first one, I'll do the first one, which is the short one, which is a book that Vince got me last year. I think for my birthday, Vince, you got me Slugfest, inside the epic 50-year battle between Marvel and DC.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering what this was like.
Yeah, written by Reed Tucker. Now, I was absolutely devouring this a couple of weeks ago and loving it, and I got about halfway through. Then I drove to Dundee, went in the boot of my car to get the book out to read at the services, and had left it at home. So, using the Costa Coffee Wi-Fi, I downloaded the audiobook as well. So, I've been listening to it. It's a really interesting book. I'll be honest with you and say there's quite a lot of stuff in there that we will know about. I've just finished I'm just going in the middle really of the Image Revolution section of it, and I think that's been fairly well documented, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's bits of it, but there's always amongst it there's another little anecdote that I hadn't heard, and that's to be fair, the nice bit as I'm sort of listening is the anecdotes and stuff. The audiobook is good, but as with all audiobooks, they get a professional person to read it. And he does keep referring to Jerry Conway as Gary Conway. There's little things that come up, like that. But you forgive it, because it's I think it's about 10 hours of listening if you went all the way through it. Though I don't know about you, but maybe it's because we're coming from the sort of British side of things. He does assert, and maybe the reason he asserts this is to suit the narrative of the book, but he does sort of strongly assert, Reed Tucker, that there are two camps, or were two camps in comics, Marvel and DC.
Okay.
And I know he's got to sell books, and that sort of melodrama, sometimes that sort of stance is needed, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I feel that. I read either and read both, and whatever I could get my hands on and stuff like that. Maybe it's different in America. I think
maybe that was true back in the day, but that's certainly not the case nowadays.
Yeah, we're so interspersed with one creator will be working for both companies, maybe even on the rare case. Yeah, I know. I get you. It doesn't pull any punches about the creators, and he uses a lot of quotes from stuff like Comics Journal and old fanzines and stuff like that, where he's found quotes from people. There's a lot of research clearly gone into it. Shooter gets a lot of mentions, and I know he gets a lot of criticism, and he did go slightly sort of megalomaniacal towards the end, didn't he? He did sort of decide at one point to get rid of the whole Marvel universe in support of the new universe and things like that. But there's some I was literally listening to it on the drive home today, and there was a bit saying where, I don't know if you know this, but Shooter got a phone call from one of the DC highs up offering him to buy DC. Said, do you want to buy DC Comics?
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't know. Marvel have, since they got a foothold, have apart from like 3 or 4 months here and there, been ahead of the game, I think. And there was a real sort of jealousy from the sort of Carmine Infantino as editor-in-chief kind of era of, well, how are they managing this? And there was a rumour going around. Somebody started a rumour that it's because they had a lot of red covers. So they decided to make it. DC said, right, we're going to make a load of red covers. Stuff like that. There's some anecdotes about this. DC was like Mad Men, if you see what I mean. Everyone was in suits, and it was, smoke pipes and that sort of thing. And Marvel was more like Glastonbury. Everyone was a hippie and stuff like that. But Mort Weisinger, who was a long-standing Superman editor at DC and widely considered to be one of the most horrible people in comics, there's quite a lot about him in the first third of the book. And he doesn't come off very well. And there's one really funny anecdote where they allegedly at his funeral, he had a Jewish funeral, and there's a section of the Jewish funeral where people are invited to stand up and say why they like the guy or what he was good at or what she was good at, that sort of thing. And they're invited as part of the ceremony to stand up, and nobody said anything. And there was this sort of stunned silence for a while, an awkward silence. And somebody from the back shouted, "His brother was worse." Vinnie Coletta, who we all know from the Kirby episode, was an inker of Kirby and others, and was quite famous to speed things up, would just rub out a lot of Kirby line work so he didn't have to ink it. He gets quite a lot of criticism for basically being like almost like a member of the mafia. And there's a report from another, I think it was Kupperberg, I can't remember who it was now, but saying that he had an office down the corridor from Vinnie Coletta, and when Vinnie Coletta was made art editor, I think, at DC, and Coletta would have like various young girls into his room, his bookie would turn up, he'd close the door, and there's this sort of this heavy illusion that Coletta was just banging birds out in his office, stuff like that. They do dig into the dirt a little bit on it.
That's great, though.
Yes, it is interesting to us. It is interesting to us, and let's face it. There's a lot of talk about Kirby's treatment, and how happy he was once he moved into animation towards the end of his career. There's a lot of there's a mortifying sequence about Carmine Infantino. People forget that Carmine was the opposite number to Stan Lee for many years. He was DC Stan Lee, and he was a little bit out of his depth because he was essentially just not just an artist, but he was an artist who was given this position of power, and he's described as being a bit lost at sea, sort of thing. But at one point, Carmine was sacked, and I think I'm going to say late 70s, early 80s, and he never went into the office ever again. Never went into DC, and DC was kind of his first love. But he still continued to draw the Flash. He did the Trial of the Flash books, for example. There's a lot of descriptions around the legal shenanigans around the Captain Marvel copyright, which was cheeky of Marvel Comics to, there was a lot of naughtiness going around, especially around the Shazam characters, we now call him. There was there's descriptions of literal spying between the companies. When Kirby went to DC and he did the New Gods books, which I love, they're a little bit nuts, but I love them, and he had a long lead-in to get it done. So the allegation is that there's only 3 people. There was the editor, Vinnie Coletta, and Kirby, who had access to these pages, and someone went over to the Marvel offices for a sandwich or something, and they had photocopies of all the pages pinned up in their office for a laugh, just to wind them up. So
bloody hell.
Shooter describes, I don't know if you've read this, but in some of the Stan Soapbox and this sort of thing, they would have a softball game between DC and Marvel, and it started out as quite a nice thing, quite a friendly in the park in the summer kind of thing, and it ended up being like really competitive. And Shooter claims that DC got a ringer in. There was this like big guy in the line to go and bat. And Shooter went up to him and goes, "Oh, what do you do at DC?" And he went, "Production." And Shooter said, "Oh, do you use this sort of product? Do you do that, or how do you do this or that?" And he says, "Well, I just work in production." And it was all these sort of allegations going on. But it's a good thing if you like the history of comics. And I think it goes pretty much up to the modern day. It's certainly I'm just past the image revolution at the moment, but it certainly does come all the way through. I'd recommend it, and I like hearing about this sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there's a lot of quotes from creators and everyone you would think of. Everyone they're talking a lot about Vertigo at the moment and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Thanks, V. Very much enjoying it. There you go.
Good.
First one.
Oh, nice. What's yours, Dan?
I'm going to give a shout out, a recommendation to a creator.
Oh.
Alex J. Brady, his Patreon account. I'm just about to sign up to it because I shared these images with you, Tony and Vince, on the WhatsApp group. But he done some images recently of Dune.
Yes. Yeah, I really like that.
It's the sandworms, as these kind of like great big black worms with kind of like glowing red interiors, and they were fantastic. And on his Patreon for the September download for $1, he's made a 35-minute video with a tutorial breakdown of how he's created these images, including the Photoshop files and the 3D files that he's used.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
For $1 to get an insight at like these pictures, which are absolutely amazing, you can't go wrong.
They're really evocative. There's a real mood and a feeling, and they're not like a lot of stuff. They're not copied from the Lynch movie, So it's nice. Yeah.
When I saw them, I was like, "Fuck me! If the new films like this, that's absolutely spot on." So I forwarded the link to my work email. I'm going to sign up tomorrow and grab them.
Nice.
So give it a go.
So he's currently on it as we speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My recommendation, I went to the shelf. I haven't been to the bookshelf for quite some time, but I picked out one that I was rereading the other day. I posted it on Twitter. There's a Dark Horse book. It's an omnibus, and this is Lone Wolf 2100. This is
on sale on Comixology at the moment, I think, man.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so.
Then people get it. I mean, I remember getting it at the time. I'll say this as someone that, yes, I know a lot of people are going to talk about how great it is, but I never read the original Lone Wolf and Cub series.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's a lot of it, and it is very good and stuff. But this just sort of hit me at the right time. It's written by Mike Kennedy, who wrote Aliens vs. Predator, the first ones.
Okay. I didn't realise that. Okay.
Illustrated by Francisco Ruiz Velasco, who is an artist that is absolutely awesome. He's done work on like Thunderbolts, Battle Gods, and he's done a lot of work. I saw that he moved into doing like a lot of concept work for Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Which you can see, especially with some of his later work. This is basically it's a science fiction take on the Lone Wolf sort of story.
Okay.
In a dying future, young Daisy Agami carries within her the key to a world's salvation or destruction. Daisy's only protector is Ito, an android bodyguard falsely accused of murdering her father. I'm guessing, is that the same correlation to the normal series?
A little different.
Right. Yeah. A powerful interest will stop at nothing to obtain Daisy, and Ito will go to any length to protect her and gain his vengeance. Now, this one came out, I think, in the early 2000s, like 2002, around that time.
Okay.
And I was buying, and it was, if I remember the issues, I was buying it. I think they were slightly larger issues. In terms of like, it wasn't like issue 1, issue 2, issue 3 sort of thing. They were more like standalone little sort of graphic novel type things. So then this omnibus collects all 4 into a nice 300-page book. And if you see the omnibus wherever you can get it, definitely get it, because this is a book that I think went under a lot of people's radar. I think no one's really talked about it. It's a samurai epic and the Lone Wolf story. If you imagine that, sprinkling a little bit of Mad Max, a little bit of Akira, a little bit of Blade Runner in as well. The visuals alone are absolutely stunning. And if you like the work of like Reckless Hero and stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was going to say the covers definitely remind me of that. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And And Velasco's interior work is stunning. Always has been. You go from like vast desert landscapes to like high rises and cities and smoking sort of industrial landscapes, and the creature design and sort of mechanical design. There's huge robots, there's cyborgs, there's all things going on. It's well worth your time. There's fantastic action scenes as well. I love it. It's those great action scenes where two samurais all like face each other, and then in a couple of panels like the fight will be over because they'll run at each other, and then you see the next panel as one of them's like falling to bits. I love stuff like that.
That's where I first saw that famous, which is now overused, where they cut them in half and they step away and they sort of slide and they break in half. That was where I first saw that. Was Lone Wolf and Cub.
What, the original? Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I know there's an awful lot of the original one, but this omnibus, you can get it. Just get the collection, probably on Comixology. It's not readily available on Amazon. I think you can buy it from the used and new sort of sellers. It's not. You can't just get it. And it was one of those books that I always wanted in my collection. I lost the original books, but to have an omnibus is just, and it's like it looks like UK comic book size rather than like graphic novels. The US size.
Okay.
Which is a nice sort of little omnibus, paperback sort of size. So definitely check it out. I'll put some. I'll find some of the panels just to show you the sort of work, because I mean, shame on me for not keeping up to date with Velasco's career. I mean, I hope he's still turning out stuff, because
I don't know. You hear the name occasionally, don't you?
Yeah,
I must have a look.
But yeah, it's awesome stuff, and the colours are really nice as well. I mean, I'm forgetting all the credits. Let's see, additional colouring by Studio F, apparently. So there you go. Check that one out, and bookend us.
I wonder what happens in Studio F.
Ooh. It's Studio D that you won't worry about. And they right, Dan?
Hell yeah.
No, but seriously, Comixology, I texted you guys earlier, didn't I? It's like blown up today.
Yeah.
I think because of New York, it's gone nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get on that.
There's loads of stuff on there. I bought a load of old Savage Dragons I'd missed.
Ooh.
For like 16. Yeah, there's a load of issues and trades going up. But yeah, have a look anyway. My one is Rok the God. I mentioned I was going to talk about it last week, and I am. I went on the Mega City podcast with Eamon. It's a good little 2000 AD related podcast, and we talked about the first one. And this Rok God is the sequel. It's now on Kickstarter, so it goes live as we record. It goes live tomorrow, but by the time you listen to this, it will have been about 6 or 7 days into it. I'm sure that it will make its money up virtually immediately on this book. The script is by John Wagner and Alan Grant, art by Dan Cornwell, colours by Abby Bulmer, and letters by Jim Campbell. Now, I'm going to say we've had John on the show. We've had Abby at Cardiff. Did you do an interview with her, Vince?
Yes, yeah.
And we've had Jim Campbell on, so we're doing all right. We're doing all right for the creators on this one. Dan's already said he'll come on. I had a chat with Dan at that comic convention that shall not be named, and a few months ago, and he showed me some of the pages from Rok the God on his phone, and it's looking amazing. And I've got to tell you, genuinely, next level up for this guy, and I really like his work anyway. So I saw him post on Twitter, if you want a Rok the God issue 1, to message him, and he will send you a signed copy. So I did that immediately, and 2 days later it went through my letterbox. It's great. It's by Red Rock Comics, so they're not with BHP on this one. They're going it alone. So I don't know who Red Rock are, but I'm presuming there's something just to do with this. Bear in mind the name. It opens with a quote from Kevin Keegan. You gotta love that, haven't you? I know what's around the corner. I just don't know where the corner is. What a ridiculous quote. But it just made me smile, which is so in keeping with the sort of smirking action of this. So, opens on an absolutely magnificent splash page, which is the one you probably saw in social media with him sort of sat on a throne. Did you see that when they posted it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you get a conversation between the real Kyle Dixon and Nigel Bull. If you remember from the first series, Rock of the Reds, the referee got shrunk down and hidden in Rock's spaceship. Do you remember that? And they're sort of in a cupboard in the spaceship, and they managed to escape. I don't know. Shall I give it a little catch up on series 1 in case anyone hasn't read it? So Carl Dixon is a typical overpaid and annoying footballer who plays, when he feels like it, for the Radford Reds. One fateful night after encountering with an occasionally evil alien called Rock, he's imprisoned and Rock takes over his life. But rather than domination of the human race, Rock falls in love with the beautiful game of football, and Radford Red start doing really well down to him, and they start climbing the table. And there's some magnificent football sequences in the first series, aren't there? Where you're like, Roy the Rovers standard. Are they going to win? Aren't they? Are they losing? They're winning. Oh, goal in the last minute kind of stuff. It is genuinely quite exciting. I find that stuff exciting because I grew up in British comics. It is good.
Yeah.
The story in this new story, the first issue, the story then jumps to TV commentators telling the reader that Radford are leading in the match, and they now have an unbroken record. And you can see that is down to Carl Dixon, who scored 4 of the goals in a 7-0 game. But even that victory cannot stop Rock feeling lonely and missing his home on the word of Arcady. So he goes home because he lives in like a family house in the sort of suburban where the original Carl Dixon is from. And he gets home and he realises that the whole of the family are frozen in place. You know, that sort of classic Star Trek kind of thing where they're frozen and you're walking around and they're not moving, you know.
Yeah.
And as a kid, all you do is try and see if they blink. And he turns upstairs and his uncle Morg has come to visit him, and it's him who's put the family in this sort of form of stasis. Morg has some bad news. Rock's mother, Lady Vorga, is dying and wishes for him to head home to see her for the last time. So off Rock goes. He said goodbye to his team members and family, and he jumps in his spaceship and heads off. What will happen? So that's where it leads. I haven't spoiled the complete ending of that book, but that's kind of the first half of it, if you see what I mean. And it's just bloody good storytelling. It's just long form 2000 AD style storytelling. It heads off in a direction you don't really expect it. I kind of miss that there's not going to be perhaps as much football in it. I'm going to say I speak as someone who isn't a football fan in any way, but I just enjoyed that content of the first one. But I think they're going to make up for it. Cornwell, I've got to tell you, Dan Cornwell is becoming one of my favourite British artists, genuinely, of all time. His work has got like an Esquire kind of mood to it, I think. I would certainly read A Strontium Dog by him, for example.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think he'd be really good on that.
Yeah.
Worthy of note are Abby's colours. Abby Bulmer, she does a really good nighttime palette. So some of this happens in the woods where they're sort of running off to the spaceship and the 2 midgets are escaping from the spaceship. And she does like a really good nighttime palette. That works really well. Get on this. I'm gonna pledge immediately. As soon as it starts, I'm going straight onto it. And I think you should too. If you go to Rock of the Reds, ROKOFTTHEREDS, rockofthereds.com, or at Reds Rock on Twitter, and you'll find more details. And I think they'll knowing what they're like, they'll do stretch goals like. In fact, there's a list of them here. So you get a Brian Bolland. Brian Bolland's done a variant cover. That's something.
Wow.
You don't see that every day. There's a poster by Simon Bisley. If you pledge enough, you get original Bisley art. I think that's the £1 million level. There's all sorts of stuff. I know in the first series you could get like a Radford Reds game shirt, couldn't you? Like a player shirt.
That's a great little thing. That.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And there's a little. I don't know if you remember this when I interviewed John at Leamington last year. I said to him, "Oh, do you support a football team?" And he went, "Yeah, Manchester United." And I sort of, because I think I'm funny, I went, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that." And he gave me like a sly look. Say, don't say that again. And right at the start, there's like a title. Well, when you got the news commentator talking about the football with the sports commentator, you've got a title underneath that says that I think Manchester United are beating Chelsea 5-0 or something. And I thought, yeah, I know where he's done that. That's clearly in the script. Yeah, but it's good stuff. And we all really enjoyed that book, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, to be honest. I thought it's going to be this kind of comic, and it wasn't. It was brilliant.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so that's my second one, chaps.
Nice.
You did a great breakdown of that on the Mega City Pod.
That's the one, yeah, with Eamon. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, and Eamon loved it as well. We could have talked twice as long about that. And I have to say, when I walked up to John and Dan at that comic convention that shall not be named, I said, I talked about this on and they both lit up because they both listened to it. And I thought, oh, that's great. The power of podcasts. How good is that? Yeah. So Dan's up for coming on as well, guys. We need to get him on at some point.
Yeah, love to have him on.
He'd be a great guest. Yeah, he's an ex-bus driver, isn't he? He used to drive a bus. Gave up bus driving when he started getting work in 2000 AD.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. You might have already heard him.
Might have done
on this week's episode.
That's true. Yeah. Good shout. Yeah.
So there you go. Some fantastic recommendations this week. And damn you, Tony, for telling me about those Comixology sales.
I've just had a look.
Because, I mean, I just went to the Image NYCC sale, and it literally seems to be everything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
all their collections. It's unbelievable. I got to put... No, got to save my money because there's a comic convention about to happen. Or happened. Or I'm probably broke.
Yourself just the one. Go on, just one.
Yeah. And I'll probably talk about it on the next show. You never know.
Good. Yeah.
But we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be all over the shop, aren't we? Like it's going to be a very convention heavy.
Busy few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, for us. So expect a lot of convention talk, as well as the nonsense. But stay tuned. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode and whatever you heard on it. We're looking forward to whatever we hear on it as well. But as always, if there's anything you want to discuss with us, or let us know. Likewise, as we say every week, any little events or anything coming up, or if you've got a comic that's being released at Thought Bubble or anything like that, then let us know. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter @theawesomepod. Well, we'll probably put a couple more shout outs. We'll do some retweets. We'll do all of that good stuff over the next couple of weeks or next few months. And if you do Facebook, go to facebook.com/awesomecomicspodcast. Likewise, if you just like joining a fantastic community of people that just want to talk about comics, making comics, no hard selling, but if you've got any questions about anything you're doing when it comes to making comics or whatever you're planning to do, then go to Awesome Comics Talk and join up and get involved, because you won't regret it, because there's a fantastic group of people there. Plus, you can keep this conversation every week. You can keep the conversation of this show going on the thread on there.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for listening to us, whether it's on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you listen to us on iTunes, subscribe and leave a review and just get the word out about this show. Likewise, if you listen to us on any networks like Spotify, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife. What other networks are we on, Tony?
We're on Pod SMDH.
I don't know what that abbreviation stands for.
No, I think we're just going to let that die on the vine.
I did post up the Inktober thread and it's already gone fucking bonkers on there.
That's it. Oh, good.
Yeah.
See, there you go. That's why you need to get involved. And where can people find us online, etc.? Tony?
EZOHYZ on Twitter, or neverindanything.blogspot.com.
Yes.
I'm going to be doing a little... you'll probably be in the middle of reading it, hopefully. I'm doing a little travel blog about my trip to New York.
Nice.
Have a look out for it. Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Dan?
You can find me on Twitter, Vanguard Comic, and you can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com.
Nice. And you can find... See, it's early in the week, isn't it? Fuck's sake. You can find more of my work at theredmousefrommars.com and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JustADiablo, where it'll probably be me doodling or pictures of my cats.
Nice.
We might have some Leamington pictures up there.
We might, yeah. If you go to, I think it's at the Awesome Pod is our Instagram, isn't it? I think.
Okay.
I didn't realise we had one.
Yeah, we got one, but we haven't used it for quite some time, so we need to, There'll be pictures of us floating somewhere, probably on Crime Watch.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm going to cover my face, so it won't be me.
You can't cover that beautiful face, Dan.
True.
Yeah. Don't you agree, Tony?
Yeah, I think so. I like looking at his face.
Yeah, I like looking at his face.
Like looking at the back of my head.
Oh. There's a story to be told there. Yeah. Anyway, folks, have a brilliant week. Thank you for joining us for this impromptu, and let's face it, we had no idea what we were doing this week.
No.
But next week we'll be back in the saddle properly, and we'll be all rested and recuperated. And so join us then. And for now, just thank you for listening. Read loads of comics, whether you bought them at a convention, whether it's New York or Leamington, wherever you're going to be. From Dan, Tony, and myself. Have a brilliant week. What do?
Hey, awesome.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.